Bat Force Radio.
Bat Force Radio is rated M for mature, or should that be immature?
Hey guys, it's Dustin Wynn.
Hey, this is Scott Snyder.
This is Paul Dini.
And you're listening to Bat Force Radio.
And you're listening to Bat Force Radio.
You're listening to Bat Force Radio.
This is Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman, and you're listening to Bat Force Radio, so stay tuned.
Welcome back to Bat Force Radio. We are very happy to be celebrating our 8th annual Halloween Spooktacular. Joining Grandpa Batman.
Howdy.
And myself, Robin Cross. We are really excited that for the 8th straight year, we are joined by our favorite horror master, who we're going to pick his brain about various horror things, and as well as speak to him about the latest book in his Dracula series, along with Matt Wagner. We are up to book 3, titled The Count, and the Kickstarter campaign for this book closes out on Thursday, October 30th at 11:59 p.m. Welcome back to the show for an 8th unbelievable year. Thank you so much, Mr. Kelley Jones.
Wow, 8 years, huh? 8 years. That's
crazy.
Amazing.
8 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you so much. Yeah, this is something we look forward to every year.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
You're really the only reason we do this show.
Yeah, really,
I mean, back in the day, we were like, you know what? I mean, we want to do a podcast because we want to talk to guys.
Yeah,
like
that's
you.
the fun. That's the fun.
And we were like, who's on our top list?
Yeah.
And we've told you this before. Top, Kelley Jones. We got to talk to Kelley Jones.
I appreciate that. No, that's the fun part of doing this, is you get to talk to all these. I mean, that is what it is for me too. I mean, it's cool being able to go say hey to Frank Miller or something, and you can just go and say hey.
Right.
Yeah. So that is pretty cool,
We should have had sound effects.
That does work, doesn't it? No, I mean that's the pleasure of it, is you get to interact and just ask all those questions. I mean, I do all the time. You get other professionals or whatever. I love it.
Well, I love it, one, because I mean, we get to pick your brain about all the things that make you do what you do.
Yeah.
And also, I'm sure you're like most people. You go to like art fairs, conventions, exhibits, and things like that. And I'll be honest, there are pieces of art that I've bought from vendors and artists where, strictly because I had such an awesome conversation with the people, that they invested their time getting to know me, and likewise. And I was like, you know what? Your art now speaks to me in a different way, in a different level. I want that because I want to remember that connection. And also, you're such a cool guy.
No, there's a lot to that with me too. It's the same with books or something.
Yeah.
And especially when you I never expect all the people I ever meet to be like perfect people or anything, but it is a lot nicer when they're okay, when they're cool.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you've just put out, actually in my hand, I received this about, it's probably been about a month ago.
Oh,
Book
good.
2.
Good.
The Brides.
Yeah, the fulfillment guy's excellent, isn't he?
Very.
And you know what I see as a very good indicator of how popular this stuff is, aside from how crazy overfunded every Kickstarter gets for each chapter on this. They all blow away the targets.
Well, look,
but
we're shocked by that, so it's good. It's a good shock, yes.
Yeah. And the other thing that I see from working in comics retail is how consistently the book is sold out from the distributor.
Yeah,
that is crazy. That doesn't happen with most of the titles from DC and Marvel.
No, it's actually, we perform as well, if not better, than most of their stuff. But that's only because I think one, Matt and I have been around long enough. Two, probably most importantly, is the story. Now that the first one has come out, and now a lot of people read the second. It's now it will be less of Matt probably and me, and then that they like the story, and that probably most importantly, well, I just said most importantly. Second, importantly, is Matt and I are just working freely. We're not having to worry about what a publisher and editor would say, because there's a lot of stuff in here obviously they wouldn't do. But I think first and foremost, when you're going to do crowdfunding, better be on time. I don't know, so many people that I'm friends with, sadly, they don't get their stuff out on time, or they're really, really late for reasons that I don't know. I treat this as the same as if I'm getting something out for DC. We have our dates, we hit them, and but I also really believe in what we're doing. I think it's good. So I want it out there. It makes me feel good that you're holding up a book, the second book, no less.
Were there any new challenges or anything that you learned different from publishing this book versus book one?
I think what happens is, luckily, we're dealing with people. Matt and I are dealing, like I was saying, the fulfillment people. They know what they're doing. We're for people who don't want to invest in a hardcover, they can get it as a soft cover, and that we do through Dark Horse. So we're dealing with their production staffs. They're just doing the production. We do all the other stuff. But so there's a lot of things that they will do that we don't have to. Mm-hmm. But there are business things you have to do, like set up your business license, all these kind of things. You got to do all that stuff. But that's not difficult. That's pretty easy. It still comes down to the same old thing. Got to, get a story. Got to pencil and ink it on time. Got to get it to the colorist. All those kind of production things. Well, like I said, I've been doing it and Matt as well. We've been doing it for such a long time. It's not hard to make our deadlines. We're old pros, Right. So the excitement of being able to do a story freely, something exciting, something different. That's right there is the incentive. The reaction. You want to see what people think. And see if they get off on it the way we did. So that's just as much as if I were doing Batman.
Well, for our listeners, if you do not have this book, I highly recommend trying to find book one, but get book two. Like Kelley said, Dark Horse is publishing a.
I think you can still get the hardcover off. I believe. You can still get it, and I know that through the campaign, and I know that for people who just go through the backer kit, you can request, and I'm sure they have to have some.
Because we were shocked and amazed whenever book one came out, because we're like, it was like page turner. This was page turner. Oh my gosh, look at this splash. This is some of Kelley's best and grossest and grotesque work ever. And it's almost like I had a question. I was like, this book is about the brides. And what I love about this is Kelley and Matt are telling a story here from Dracula's point of view, which is, I don't think it's ever been done.
No, it hasn't. That was the unique thing that Matt came up with.
And when you read Bram Stoker's Dracula or see the movie, you're like, well, where did these brides come from? Why does he have three brides?
Yeah.
And this tells that story about, how his harem, how he chose his harem and who they are and why he has these women as his brides. I'm wondering, which did you enjoy drawing most, the brides or the victims of the brides?
It's interesting. I think I think what made Matt's initial idea was he wanted to know, why did he choose these girls?
Yeah.
And for what reasons? Well, that played out in each one of their stories, each vignette of how he met and possessed them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what made it interesting is, as you looked at them, it began to be a good character study of Dracula. It explained things about him that, why he chose them and what he chose them for. I think the fact that he was going to have to deal with the curse he was under was immortality is a nasty thing. It doesn't sound it until you have it. And the world changes, but he doesn't. So and he never had a wife while he was living. They died. He never had children. So these are the first things he's actually made. And these are the first that will have a shared history with him. And I think what is unique is that as he understands the real difficulty of immortality, he's passed that on to them in his own way. Whatever made them special, that corruption or that curse has lessened it, has removed it a lot. So and that in and of itself is interesting. They become really as dangerous as he does.
Well, they're probably even worse.
Yeah, because they work together.
Right. I thought it was interesting how, first off, I like the point of view where, as the story sets up for him wanting a companion through this, immortality. We see a side of Dracula that, is not explored much, where he still has emotional needs. He's this guy that, he's evil. He's the Prince of Darkness, but he still has some connection to his human side when he was alive and still has emotional needs. So he goes and picks the first bride.
Yeah.
Based on, availability and just pure proximity, because she's the daughter of one of his servants.
Yeah.
And then as the years go by, we see, well, he wants something else.
Yeah.
He has another desire. So he chooses the second bride. And then over a century later, he still has some desires and wants and emotional needs, and he chooses the third bride. I thought that was very interesting, and I love how Matt developed that, and I loved how you portrayed that.
Well, they are his possessions.
Right.
They will do as he says. And
will they?
Well, they're women, aren't they? So you're going to find out. And for me, they all were. Matt was right. There's only a few descriptions of them in the book, for maybe a few sentences here and there. Yet they held such power over people adapting it. Who were they? They obviously they're never described as brides. They're just three women who live with him, like concubines, or like you said, part of his harem. The label of brides was added later, but it works, and it's essentially what they are anyway. So for him, he wanted to invent them as you read out of whole cloth. Their stories, who they are. The only thing ever mentioned is one was deferred to by two, so she must have had higher rank.
Right.
And so which would apply to 400 or 500 years ago. Right. So probably now as well. So I took that and based it on women I knew, not what I'd seen before. Nothing fictional. I didn't go look at anything. And luckily, as I read each synopsis that he was giving me, I would I remember reading the first one. I go, man, I know that girl. I know her. The second one, the same thing happened again. I went, Lord, I know that one too. I mean, the way they're described.
Mm-hmm.
And so it starts to the difficulty of designing them would go away. When it got to the third one, it was creepy because I know all of them. I mean, personally. So, you know, I asked their permission. I said, look, you're going to get murdered and raped and all this horrible shit, but then you're going to do the murdering and the raping and all, you know, you're going to be vampires.
Well, number 3 was probably the most interesting of all of them. What's her name? Tatiana?
Tatiana.
Because she's the one, and can we go full spoiler?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. She's the one that I really wouldn't call her a victim in this because she kind of gave herself freely to him out of mercy and pity.
He tricked her. He waited and waited and waited, and then he put a child at risk in her head.
Right.
And he knew her weakness. And then finally she gave up, and she thought there was something still human in him.
Right.
And then she found out it was lust. Lust for her blood, lust for her. And she had held him off for such a long time, it really built. So she felt bad. She was placing her values on him.
Right.
You know, that he was a tortured, cursed being, which he is. But you got to remember what he was before he was a vampire was a pretty bad dude.
Yes.
But he doesn't think he's bad, right? He thinks he's okay. He thinks he's a prince. He's a warlord. He's doing his job.
Right. It's what he's entitled.
Yeah, he doesn't see himself as a villain at all. In fact, he wouldn't understand that. I mean, certainly he gives payback, but he doesn't see himself as evil.
I think it's very interesting how once he's turned each woman, they lose all sense in some way or mostly of who they were before, and they just become something worse that he didn't. I don't think he expect.
Yeah, see, he
thinks they're going to be, you know.
Oh yeah,
he even says, you know, I'll have a new bride and she will do as I please.
Yep.
Yet they really don't.
No, they become consumed by the same thing he is, but because he was made the way he was, he has obviously far more control of it.
Right.
They are now objects that have they've become object of lust as well. He made them that way. They're vampires. They still hold their place. They still know who they are, but they're consumed by this. And it is in a way a tragedy, but he doesn't see it. We see that, but he doesn't. He just is like, you know, now they're it's kind of
he becomes their servant in a way. He's
because he feels he has to take care of them. Yeah. And he feels that because he created them, that he has to look out for their best interests.
Yeah, and they showed that if he doesn't
apply
what they need.
Look, women of that time clearly weren't treated the way women are now, but they held their men to a standard.
Mm-hmm.
You will be, they expected it. They didn't see themselves as oppressed in the least.
Right.
You have to go and be that dominant thing. And clearly Dracula's that. So, but Dracula, and that is, you know, their defiances of him in certain ways are purely based on what they feel he has to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's fascinating.
It is also fascinating, you know, just as much as like, you know, he drains his victim's blood. He drained their blood to create this new undead being.
Yeah.
They drain on him.
Yeah.
His life force or undead life force, basically in a way where he actually starts aging.
Yeah.
Was that a result of
he's
the stress
feeling
that he's doing?
Yeah, he's feeling. I think the way I put it is, he's been existing for so long without that purpose.
Yeah,
and he's beginning to lose his purpose, because at first he could go and strike where he would and do what he had to, and he had free. But at becoming a vampire, obviously, you're going to be tied to the land where he was made.
Right.
So he's restricted to those forests and his castle and whatnot. And obviously, that's the setup to the Count, where he has to go then find and restore his purpose again.
He's pretty much used up all his resources that he has in his small domain.
Well, he's wearing out.
Yeah.
So the questions, as Matt said, why would he be called the Count? He's a warlord. He's a prince. He's a voivode. So he bestows that upon himself, because when you go to England, you can't say voivode, but you can say Count, and they'll go for it.
Right.
They'll just buy it. He's wealthy. He's a man of means.
Right. It
So
places him in a certain status where he'll be accepted, but not expected to be.
He can move freely now.
Yeah, exactly.
And one of the things is when you think about it, a vampire has to be invited. But when he goes to London, you have doormen who say, "Come on in."
Right.
You can buy a ticket to a theater. Come on in. Anywhere there's a greeter, they'll let you come in.
Okay, I had a question about that because for Bride 2, she's already in his home.
Right.
But as he approaches her at night outside her window, he still has to ask for her permission. So is it more so the person has to invite him in, or the dwelling has to be an
well, what he does when he's talking to her, then he's seducing. And his seduction is such that he wants something from her. Obviously, he's attracted to her, but he wants something from her father as well.
Yeah.
And but those become pointless things because he can't utilize them, and that's why you see the decay around the castle. Even he begins to not care about those things.
Right.
The only thing is like you said, finding blood for the girls.
And the castle, equally represents, his vitality as well.
Yes, it does. Yes. Right. And that's why you see it start to fall into decay. It's because the castle has lost its purpose as a position and a place to strike and as a warrior to defend his land.
Right.
So before we get into the point of where book 3 finds our main man, I want to shoot a little segment in here that I have begun calling stealing from the internet, where I, get this, steal things from the internet. In this particular case, I want to go through a little bit of the history of the character and get your opinion on a particular thing, which I have stolen from. So this is an article from CBR where they rank the 10 best Dracula actors of all time who aren't Bela Lugosi.
Who aren't Bela.
Who aren't Bela. So I want to go through, I've put the top 10 that they gave in a random order here, and I'm going to give you 2 of them at a time, get your selection in those, 1v1s.
Okay.
And then we will come out to the end with, from their top 10, who comes out to be yours, just through process of elimination.
Sure.
So I'm going to start off with, we've got Frank Langella from 1979's Dracula versus Jack Palance from 1974's Bram Stoker.
Well, that's they're both outstanding. Clearly, the Jack Palance one was what influenced Tomb of Dracula by Marv Wolfman and Gene Colan. That's who Colan based him on visually. And it's really, Palance plays a great, dangerous vampire. I think it's a brilliant execution of it. Very original story. Richard Matheson's wonderful. Consequently, I adore Langella's performance. I think obviously they're doing John Balderston's play, but it really works, and it's respectful to the material. I would probably lean towards Langella's just because of how beautiful his performance is as this elegant Dracula, and then how really dangerous he becomes and vindictive. So it's played more romantically. The Dracula I do has no romance in it, but both of these do, and that's a tough pick. But I would lean towards Langella's 79.
Oh,
All right. Perfect. Moving forward, we've got Christopher Lee from 1958, and then Bill Skarsgård in Robert Eggers' Nosferatu.
Well, one is, luckily that's easy, Christopher Lee, but Nosferatu, he's not Dracula, right? They're doing Nosferatu is a rotting corpse-like being, and though it's lifted, I mean, what Nosferatu has going for it is all three films ever done from 22, 79, and now are brilliant. They're all great. And Dracula films can't say that, but 3 Nosferatus in a row that are 5 stars is saying something, and all kind of different.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, and that shows really the depth of the character and of the story that so much can come.
All filmmakers, interestingly, are auteurs. So they had their own take on it. So that's easy to be, Christopher Lee, because that's Dracula. But I adore all 3 of those films, and I thought Eggers' Nosferatu was a masterpiece. I mean, genuinely a masterpiece.
This is another one that I'm interested to see where you go on this. So we've got John Carradine from 1945's House of Dracula versus Klaus Kinski from 79's Nosferatu the Vampire.
Well, there you go. I love Kinski. I think he was genuinely pathetic and frightening at the same time. But that's easy because he's Nosferatu. I think Carradine's House of Dracula is brilliant. He is exactly as Stoker describes him. This erudite, aristocratic, elegant man. And he looks dead on what Dracula looked. I mean, Universal was wise to do. I wish they'd have done more with Carradine as a Dracula, because they got it, and House of Dracula is a terrific picture. I mean, I think both the House movies are quite good, but House of Dracula's got a lot going for 106 minutes. Man, they pack a lot into it.
See, this is why I wanted to do this with you, because look at the runtime off the top of your head. This is exactly why I wanted to do this. Well,
that's why I think Universal films are must-sees for people. One, they're very entertaining, and the other is they don't waste your time. They get right to it.
Of course. So of those 2, so was that Carradine then?
Yeah, I would say Carradine, just because it's Dracula.
All right. Moving on, we've got Louis Jordan and Max Schreck.
Well,
77, and then Nosferatu Symphony of Horror.
Shrek is nightmare fuel. I mean, just probably because it's black and white, and I actually prefer. This is my heretical thing. I prefer the unrestored Nosferatu. I like it glowy and stuff running. It's like a memory. It's like you're back in 1820 when it was supposedly taking place. So I always have my nice unremastered one. I watched the new one's great, or the way they remastered is great, but that's true. But I have to say, Louis Jordan, you wouldn't expect him to hit it out of the park, and he did. He's quite good as this, again, an elegant man who is incredibly dangerous. And you can tell he's lying to you when he's doing it, and he knows he's lying to you, and he wants you to know he's lying to you. That's great. That's hard to do. That's really hard to do.
It's a sort of a version of the unreliable narrator.
Yeah, and he's while he's basically holding Harker prisoner, and he's doing it with delight. He's threatening and charming at the same time. When he tells his three girls, when they say, "You never love," and he goes, "Oh, that's not true," and he kind of caresses them, and then he gives them a bag with a baby in it. It's just, that's wonderful. That's chilling.
So of those two,
I would go. I would have to say, well, one is Dracula, and so I have to go with Jordan.
all right.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the final one of the first round. We will have gone through all of the options here at this point. Now, this one's maybe the oddest pairing. So we've got Gary Oldman from '92's Bram Stoker, and then Duncan Rager from the Monster Squad.
Well,
they had on the list.
It's Duncan Rager. Duncan Rager is terrifying. I love Gary Oldman as an actor, but he's crying. Dracula doesn't cry. He's crying and all upset and all that kind of stuff. But Duncan Rager, man, when he's like in that little girl's face, and oh Jesus, he's terrific. That's a scary, accurate Dracula.
All right, so now we're getting into the championship rounds here. So now we're going to come to Frank Langella versus Chris Lee.
Chris Lee.
All right, and now we're at John Carradine versus Louis Jordan.
I would have to say still Jordan. They did the story. They actually adapted it. It's the closest to the story that's still been done.
Okay. All right, now that leaves us with Duncan Rager versus Chris Lee.
Oh, Chris Lee.
All right, and that now leaves us. This is the final: Louis Jordan or Chris Lee for number one spot.
It's always going to Christopher Lee, if only for Dracula, the Prince of Darkness.
And there it is.
Yeah.
We broke down this CBR article where they highlighted their top 10, and we got the number one ranking from Kelley Jones, who knows a thing or 10. And just to tell you where they had him placed, they had Chris Lee placed at number 2.
Yeah.
And they gave Max Schreck number 1.
Well, see, they got it wrong.
Yeah, there you go.
Max Schreck was Nosferatu.
I will tell them.
Yeah. Max Schreck's Nosferatu. He's not Dracula. You can do your favorite Nosferatu.
Yeah.
That you can do. And that one I think would be harder to do than your favorite Dracula. Because they're all brilliant performances.
Yeah. It is interesting that they titled it 10 Best Dracula Actors.
Yeah, because if you're going to do that, then you can I would throw, if it was Nosferatu, or things that are vampires that aren't Dracula, then it wouldn't just be Nosferatu. You could do Count Yorga, who is terrific. That's a very frightening riff on the Dracula thing too. And you can also do Michael Pataki from Grave of the Vampire, which is a terrifying vampire, really sadistic vampire, but a traditional vampire. And you could do Janos Skorzeny from The Night Stalker with film with Darren McGavin. I mean, Janos Skorzeny is a terrifying character, and they're all takes on Dracula.
I love how every year we pretty much talk about vampires.
Yeah. Well, I know.
Hey, it's either that or pizza.
Yeah.
So now that we have gone through some of the best representations in the live action medium, let's get us back to where we find the main man in book 3, The Count.
Okay.
Where is this finding us?
Well, it's a take on Dracula, the novel, without doing the novel, but it's all in canon. So Dracula is told in a way where you hear about him, and it's through the protagonists, Mina, Jonathan, Van Helsing, all of them. so they hear about him, or there's effects of him, of what he does, but he doesn't give a damn. He, Matt had to deal with the coincidences of he, dealt with Harker to come to England, and he just so happens that his ship crashes, and he lives right next door to where all of these people are, which he didn't, that's just in the novel. So what Matt did was he said, when you read it, there's like things you'll hear about, things that's going on with him, but they're not directly related to the people we know from the story. So they're not in it. It's him. It's Dracula. They're peripherally in it. I mean, the only one you really see, and it's briefly, is Renfield. But that's because he had direct contact with Renfield. And they only become a focus of him when they start successfully antagonizing him. He's not paying attention to him at all. When you get to the Count, there's a whole bunch of great action pieces with Dracula and what he's doing in England and his experiences and plans. It's absolutely, I think it's the one we work to get to. I think Matt's story is literally genius, and no one has ever done this. And he kept it in time with the novel. Matt's level of research was, I tell him all the time, it was like he was going for a master's degree, because he has everything timed perfectly. If you read the novel and when the Count comes out, they match. Phases of the moon, where he's at, what time of the year, it all connects. And Matt wisely did not want them to be principal in this. They're almost not in it. And how he solves that problem will knock everyone out. It is absolutely brilliant. In fact, Matt had Leslie Klinger, who is a Dracula expert, wrote the annotated Dracula, he's the absolute scholar on it. And he was so impressed. He had never seen anything like this. And it all worked. And he felt it was a singular work of genius. I mean, from what Matt's end. And I agree. It's when I read it and he told me he was going to do this. I mean, how are you going to solve that? You got to show these things. I mean, how do you do it? He did it. And you don't miss it. You're absolutely riveted by Dracula.
Wow. I can't wait.
And that's just impressive that after all of these years, Matt can come up with something that.
Well, that's what I said, since when the book came out in 1897. So 130 years or so. And he's come up with something completely original. And that's the striking thing about it. Mind you, he has a 4th volume planned.
What?
Yep.
Oh.
And when he explained it, it is absolutely, you go, yes. That makes sense. He knows, I mean, he literally read all of Stoker's notes too, which are housed in Philadelphia in some museum. He read every single thing about it, and absolutely, it works. Now, what he's going to do in the 4th, he's working on it right now.
Okay.
So you think I mean, I'm like with you guys. I tell him I don't want to know until he's got it.
Okay.
And then that way, that's what I do with him anyway. I mean, he'll tell me things generally, but a lot of times I want to hit it. I want to read it from the script, because all of your reactions are my reactions. I mean, I love seeing people say these things, because that's what I was doing when I read. I was the only one that had read it. So when I did, I went, wow, that's fascinating. And then I said, well, how are you going to do it if you don't show them? And he did it. And I went, that's how you do it. I mean, it's it is literally breakneck speed.
So originally, this was just planned as a 3-part story,
No,
correct?
it was always 4. It was always 4.
It was always 4.
He always
Okay.
told me 4, and I said, "Well, how are you going to do that?" And he said, "Don't worry about it." He says, "I'll do it. I will do it." And he had and he told me generally what he wanted. When he told me his basic outline for 4, it knocked me out. And it's a 4-volume story.
Okay.
Wow.
Wow.
And I think it's kind of Matt deserves it because he followed in the first one. He based it on Stoker's, the Skull of Mons, where you go and learn how to be a vampire. And then the Brides, he took, these girls, and we found out what they are, and answers so many more things in both of those volumes. The third one, he does the neatest artistic trick in the world, and stays in canon the whole time. Nothing goes against what Stoker wrote.
Well, one thing that I noticed in book 2 is that Matt very cleverly shows us his greatest weakness.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's going to play out and come back around. But
well, I think what Matt does so well is the little things.
Mm-hmm.
Like why he prefers women to men is the taste of their blood.
Right.
Why that sunlight really doesn't affect him. I mean, it weakens him. And as a tactical guy, he doesn't want to be out where he's weak. Because if somebody knows what to do, you could take him. You have a better chance of taking him.
Right.
So that's why he will be predominantly at night. But he can function in the day. And that is from Stoker.
Hmm.
Stoker has scenes where he's in the day. And he's, he doesn't need
cloaked. Yes.
He doesn't need any of that. It just lessens his powers.
Hmm.
And takes away his abilities to do things. At night, he's full steam. So as a military tactician, you only go when you're in full strength.
Right.
I love that the fact that the two of you got to do this completely on your own without a publisher holding the reins, making any rules, any guidelines, telling you where you couldn't go. It's just the two of you completely doing what you want.
You wouldn't have seen, there's so many scenes you guys can say yourself.
Yeah.
You can tell. Nothing with the girls, like as far as it went. Nothing with, in the first one, how brutal he is with the impaling.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to name.
Yeah,
I can't see. So that the two of you got to do everything you wanted to with no meddling, and it has proven to be, it went on to be something that is going to be so career defining for both of you, even with everything that you've all done previously.
I agree with that. And that I say with a lot of, I would have said that with a lot of trepidation a few years ago, but I knew once they came out, the first 2 came out, I will say they're the only books really I've had where I have had no wincing when I checked them when they came to me. I looked at them and I went, this is exactly the way they were in my head. Matt has said the same thing. There's nothing where you go back and say, oh, I could fix that, or I'd change that, or, probably things no one else sees, but you see these things. These I haven't. And I will say so far, I'm halfway through finishing the count. It's penciled and about half inked. It's the same thing is happening, if not more so, because it's such a different locale. It's a different, I'm not in forests and castles anymore. Mm-hmm. I'm in, a metropolitan 1890s London. And it really does affect the material. No, I would agree with that. And I'm glad to hear that. I mean, it is, it's something we're hearing a lot from people saying, wow, this is really top shelf stuff. And it is a lot to do. I don't have to worry about an editor saying, look, I like this, but this, what you're, either the violence or the explicitness or whatever. None of it's done for that purpose. It all falls within Matt's story, and it does its job of being shocking and non-biased at the same time. It's just, here it is.
Have you gotten any
And-
feedback
and
from
none
your
of it-
family and friends?
Well, like I said, the women who've all volunteered to be in it, I let them decide if they want to tell people, because if you've read it, they're there.
They're there.
They're there, and they are overjoyed to be in it.
Oh,
You know,
wow.
I kind of didn't think I kept saying, in fact, while producing them, I would take each one of these ladies and say, okay, come on over. I'm going to show you the finished work. You can still say no. You know, and they were all delighted.
Wow.
You know, they were all absolutely delighted.
And none of the stuff, none of the violence, the graphicness of it, of any of the books, none of it is there for shock value or to get attention. It is all, it's the history of this.
It is. And I think it's
all there.
far better the way Matt did it to not have our current idea of sexual politics, how you deal with the opposite sex, none of that. The way we see things, the way we judge things, none of that's there, because that's of their time.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's more powerful when you get it I'll say it again, an unbiased, here it is. That's very Stanley Kubrick. You know, here it is, look at it, make up your mind.
Yeah.
Some you might like, some you may not, but this is how it was. Just
you can't measure standards of the past against the standards of
I
today.
think people could rightfully say now, any time, current time, there what would be current to someone. This isn't a great time, or there's the problems here, or this is really good, blah blah blah, and they'll disagree on it. So that is current to any time you're in. So the only way to tell a story that has history, that takes place in history, is to tell it without the baggage of yourself, and just say, this is how they lived.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
And I think it's more interesting.
Oh.
I think it clearly helped in each story of the brides.
Nobody wants to see a story like this with restraint.
No, because then it's not then you're not telling the truth.
There you go.
Yeah,
that's it.
You're not telling the truth. These women are not, though victimized, they're not victims, if that makes sense. It's what they want, and it's what they expect, and then they have their say in things, and that's for 400 years ago, in a fairly rough medieval time of incredible violence, you see they have a lot of say, but in their way, not our way.
Right.
Just like you need a truth in advertising, you need truth in literature.
Yes, you do. And I think if there's a turnoff I have to a lot of current films or television, is they try to bring our values to some other time. They try to change things that way, and then it takes you out of the story. I think what makes this Matt's Dracula so good is he doesn't do that. It is what it is, and that's part of the thing that can shock you. Isn't even the horror; it's just how they lived. Good or bad.
Yeah, especially in a class system where, even within the brides, I mean.
Well, they expect him to be.
Well, I mean, even how.
Yeah.
The first one was a servant girl.
Yeah.
And she was his first bride, which normally there's kind of a hierarchy, right? But when number 2 comes around, and I'm sorry, I forgot her name, but because she was higher born, number 1 fell under her and kind of went
and deferred. Absolutely deferred.
Yeah.
She wouldn't. How would she know how to behave differently? She was cleaning the floors.
But she had every right to say, you know what, I was here first. This is my castle.
Yeah, but that's
not the way it was.
No,
that's not the way it was.
No, and one of the things is
even if she was 200 years a vampire before number 2 came along. Yeah.
It wouldn't. And he doesn't say, Dracula doesn't say, you're here. He lets them work it all out.
Yeah, he does.
You know,
For the
no.
good or bad, yeah.
Yeah, they're not women who are going to become pregnant and have babies.
Right.
So it's a different world. It's a totally different thing.
Yeah. I learned something new in the storytelling that I didn't know before, and that's another cool thing that I love about the storytelling is that it's also educational in a way. I
Yes,
didn't know
it
what Strigoi was.
Yep.
How do I say that? Strigoi?
Yeah, it's Strigoi.
Yeah, you got it.
Strigoi.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that Matt had to do. For example, he couldn't use current curse words. He had to find out what did they say then. What was if you're going to say something bigoted or dirty or whatever? What did they say?
Yeah.
They can't use our words, and that was interesting. I mean, that is interesting. That he goes from a place of, it takes violence to control things to where he goes to London and he finds that it's now not, swords and spears, but it's money and it's acquisition. And that was how the British Empire became the British Empire.
Right.
And he admires that because it's a different thing. It's still warfare.
It's something that he has to learn.
Yeah.
Which,
But you got to remember, before he came, he studied every single thing he could.
Right. It's something that, this is something new. I can appreciate learning this.
Yeah. He doesn't speak with, Bela Lugosi's voice. He speaks in a purely cultured British accent because he learned it. He made himself know it. And in the novel, Harker, he says, you're going to have to speak. We'll have a lot of talk, so I know how to speak, fluently in your accent. And Harker says, you already do. I couldn't tell you weren't from England. And that's a strategy. That's a tactic. And that's from the novel. So he's not speaking in a Romanian or Transylvanian accent. It's those things that Matt does so well, and seriously, so effortlessly. Though there's so much effort from Matt on this, I do think it's something that I don't know if other writers could do. I don't know. I know how much effort he put into his research, and it was staggering.
Kind of makes me wish there was like an audio companion guide with this. That'd be so cool.
He's got a plan for something that is really kind of cool.
Okay.
I mean, we do everything we do through our mutual Orlok Press, and he has told me, I've said to him, it'd be kind of interesting. He's got this really cool idea. So, and that if there's anything with Matt,
well,
it's that he's always thinking.
Have you listened to any of the DC Batman podcasts where they start with year one and then they go to Long Halloween? Have you heard any of those episodes?
Yeah, Matt. Yes, I have, and it's always interesting because I know the people. Not the people doing the podcast, but I know the people who did those things. So you always wonder, do they agree or disagree, or is that what they think or whatnot? But personally, I don't care. I think that's cool. I think this is first and foremost not a professional's business; it's a fan's business, and that's the way it should be.
I think it'd be great if they did like Red Rain, but of course we're biased.
I'll tell you right now, they are planning on doing some nice stuff at DC with a really nice edition of that. They're working it out.
Okay.
We'll see if they do. Just like I had a Swamp Thing come out that I did with Lynn Wein, and they did a beautiful job. And they did one with Gotham After Midnight about a year ago.
Okay.
Beautiful jobs with those. So I know there's a lot of love for it in the offices still, which is nice. It's been a long time since those come out.
So you've told us about Volume 4 coming out, which man, we haven't even gotten Volume 3, and I'm already thinking about Volume 4.
I'll tell you, it's okay. And remember, he told me this a few years back before we got started, and I was that way. I was like, oh man, you're telling me this stuff now. I'm wanting those, and I haven't even started.
So you've done Frankenstein. When you finished Bernie Wrightson's
Right.
book, you've done. Now you're working on Dracula. In the far future, will we ever see and I'm hoping there's maybe a theme here, but you think we could ever get maybe a werewolf?
I would say I leave that to Matt's muse if
Okay.
those things strike him. I think with Dracula, as he had said, he loved the book, but he said there just wasn't that much Dracula in it.
Right.
It's basically their reactions and how they deal with it. So it brewed in his brain, and when he came to ask me about it, it had been in his head for about 10 years. And it was really when I said yes that he then put it all together and did the research and said, okay, we're going to go, because I had to commit to 4 graphic novels is like pencil and inking 6-issue miniseries, and that's a year's of work. That is that's if you're pencil and inking 6 issues, that's 12 issues, because you're drawing 6 and you're inking 6. So and you want to give it its due. You want to give it its time. You don't want to blast through it. So I applauded him so much for his ideas in a 5-minute pitch to me that I committed to 5 years of my life.
Yeah,
it was that good of a pitch. Best one I've ever heard.
Okay.
And you now know
Yeah,
at least through the first two. Yeah, through the first 2 that the main moments of that he was telling me are in that book. So it would be, it was like, yeah, I've never seen that before. When he first called me, I thought it was going to be Batman. Kelley, do you want to do a Batman? I got a great Batman idea, because he's known for Batman. I'm known for Batman. And when he said Dracula, frankly, at first I was disappointed. Because Dracula, we know Dracula. What more is there to do with Dracula? And after 5 minutes, I said, I'm in.
Yeah.
5 minutes, I'm in. And I hung up the phone, told my wife, I said, this is what I'm doing.
Buckle up.
Yeah, this is what I'm doing. I think you have to feel like when you get up in the morning, you can't wait to work. And that's what Matt gave me. I could not wait to work.
Wow.
I can be tired at the end of the day, but it's that good kind of tired, like you did. Just the last few days, I've produced some of the finest stuff I've ever done. It's absolutely due to the power of Matt's writing. It's there. It's like, here it is. He doesn't tell me what to do. He just says, here, this is what happens. Figure it out.
Wow.
And it draws itself. No.
And then once it draws itself, I feel bad I haven't mentioned yet. Also, handling the colors on all of these, Jose Villaruba,
great
has
Jose
been
Villaruba.
fantastic.
Yes, I think Matt gave him one direction, and it was be bright. Be bright, and I had always felt, and Matt agreed, I'd always felt my stuff should be colored like the great Mario Bava's Black Sabbath. And if you've ever seen that movie, it is absolutely incredible, intense darks with neon lighting, and it works. It is kinetically powerful. I think the way Jose approaches it is, you never know what you're going to get, but you know it's going to be cool. And he has just been, when you thumb through it, right? It's like, whoa. He really knows what he's doing. He had restored Richard Corbin's Den and Wrightson Swamp Thing brilliantly. So he knew that we were going for a late 70s heavy metal kind of look, and there's never been a time where I have not just been in awe of what he does. I always love it when he'll send a big chunk in and on the PDF, and it's like, wow, okay, I go get something good to drink and sit there and just
like, I'm staring at this last page of Nikisha when she first shows up.
Yeah.
What'd you think when you just saw that page colored?
I fell out of my chair.
Yeah.
I do so much stuff in black and white that it's pretty much compositionally, the contrast and everything, I walk away from it. I always think, I do this so you don't need color, right? If they just published it black and white, it would be okay. That's my own insecurity. But when he comes and does it, you go, wow, that is just lovely. I mean, I love that his colors, and so he's every bit a part of this. It's like I think I have always put it in this term. It's like a great soundtrack to a film.
Yeah.
When you see the lighting of the warning fires in Lord of the Rings, and they light those fires in that incredible music as you see the cinema together. Both are impressive, really cool separately, if you just heard it, saw it. But when you put it together, it's brilliant.
Right.
And that's how I see Jose, as he's my Howard Shore.
Very cool. Well, I think we're up on your hour.
Yeah, coming up on it. But guys, this has been a lot of fun. This has been
thank you so much.
Thank you. So much.
We appreciate. We know you've been really busy doing interviews
it's
and
October
stuff.
and their campaigns and stuff like that. They jam everything together. But no, I do appreciate it. I'm glad we do this. I'm just stunned it's 8 years.
Crazy. I'm surprised we're all still here.
I am too.
On our end, anyway.
Yeah, I mean that's a long time, isn't it? Yeah,
Very
where
long
did
time.
time go?
I don't know.
Well, we certainly appreciate, and look forward to year 9.
Me too.
Because we're going to have
and
to talk about the count then.
Yeah, and then we will be able to pick your brain about I'm sure by then maybe we'll be looking at the campaign for book 4.
Yeah, that'll be going on, huh? Yeah, I should be in the same position where I'm at. I'm always right. It's funny, every time I'm right, kind of where I'm am with the prior to in production. So we're keeping to the schedule, and it like I said, I can't say how much fun it is to produce this. So it's really cool that when it comes out, it still has that same feel, as if for me, from reading it from script to seeing it published.
It's a masterpiece, and again, to our listeners and people watching this, please do yourself a favor and grab book number 1 and 2, Dracula, from Matt Wagner and Kelley Jones. It's a page turner. It's something you'll be proud to display on your shelf and reread it, every October.
Yeah, I appreciate
get your ass over to Kickstarter. The campaign for Dracula Book 3, The Count, closes at midnight on Devil's Night.
Yes,
so
it
get
does.
over there before time runs out. What an apt time for it to end.
Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate that.
Thank you so much, Kelley. This was Kelley Jones. That was Bat Force Radio. Thank you for joining us again, and we will see you next time.